Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.
All right, we are back in full effect in the Detroit is Different podcast studios. Kind of continuing one of my last interviews. We partnering this together. It's like the Black Love series now. We got matrimony, a wife and a husband. One is as we know, someone that is in the neighborhood as a property owner right here. I call it like the 12th Street neighborhood, the Rosa Parks neighborhood, the square as he may call it. Mm-hmm. And the other is also an entrepreneur, a whole different world of it. Monda Mims, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, you are a creator as well.
Yes.
And very creative.
Yes.
You are a content creator. That's what I call like podcasting, YouTube, graphic design for the internet and internet consumption. But you also are a creator by hand with handcrafts.
Yes.
And the one handcraft that people are looking at, you see little homies. I always call kids little homies. The infants.
Yes, I got two of the little homies here with us today, and they're actually called Reborn Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
So what a Reborn Doll is, it's just a baby doll that has been painted, hand painted realistically to have all the characteristics of a newborn baby.
And very realistic, because I've been sitting the whole interview with Miguel thinking to myself, like, these are the most quiet infants on earth in the car seats and everything.
Yes.
These are baby dolls.
These are baby dolls. These are baby dolls. And I just buy the blank vinyl pieces and I bring them to life, try to give them as much depth and realism as possible. They have traits of a real baby, like the capillaries, and they have the milia, and all of the things that a newborn baby would have. You even see them, they're even weighted to feel like a baby.
Okay, now we definitely will get into that. We're gonna start the Detroit is Different classic way, then we're gonna venture into that, because that's extremely creative.
Thank you.
And when you talk about like that world, I didn't know that world existed for people in general, let alone Black people in that world. So we definitely got to get into like how you got into that, and then also the creativity of painting and where that started.
Okay.
But let's connect this whole story. Detroit. What's your family's tie to Detroit?
Well, my family, I was born and raised on the west side of Detroit. My family is from the South, Alabama, but my mother was raised here in Detroit, so I was raised here. She was raised on the east side of Detroit, and she went to Southeastern High School.
SE, a juggler.
Yes. So, but I was born and raised on the west side, went to Mumford High School, and I've always been creative. It started out with just hair, so I've always deem myself as a creative person, but just being here in the city, single parent, my mother didn't have much money, so we had to create our own style. So, as far as the dress, as far as the hair, as far as even the toys that we had, we didn't have the Ataris or the Sega Genesis or the Nintendos. So we played rock teacher, double dutch, Chinese jump rope. So you had to be a little more creative when you didn't have the monetary means to get some of the other things that you can just purchase. So the creativity started at a really young age.
And with it, that's unique that you brought that up, because even me as a kid, like even with a couple, like, I would have the G.I. Joe, and then I'd make like these bobby pin men that my mom would have. So like bobby pins, and then I wrap rubber bands around two legs and everything. So like that creativity of playing with toys was a whole lot of like almost creating a whole universe connected to that. And then even creating these places and spaces where the toys would be.
Yes. It was an escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just like unbridled creativity of using your imagination to tap into a whole new world. I think that's the beauty of a child, but usually as we grow older, we cut that innocence off.
Exactly.
What kept you so creative as you continue to grow into like painting and things like that?
I think always striving to be different. I think that's what drew me to my husband. Our slogan for our ice cream truck is something different.
Mhm.
So we're always looking to strive to create and be something different. There's nothing wrong with being average or normal or ordinary. That's not what I'm saying. But for me, I want to go above that. I want someone to say, wow, I got that same outfit, but I never thought to wear it like that. Or, I do that, but I never thought to do it like that. Or that's different how you did it like that. So not the recognition from someone else, because that's not what I'm looking for. I just do it because I want to look different than how you looked in yours.
Yeah.
It's all about pleasing me and keeping me happy and me upping my game to the next level, only to myself. I'm my biggest competition. I'm not comparing myself to you. I'm not trying to outdo you. I want to outdo myself. So you made a beautiful baby, and I'm looking and I'm peeping it, but I'm going to do something different to take it that next step.
Now within that kind of bounces me back to West Side. What neighborhood of the West Side were you growing up in?
7 Mile in Wyoming. I went to Mumford High School.
And for non-Detroiters and it's a lot of non-Detroiters that listen to this, 7 Mile is almost like a looming legend.
Yes.
But people from this neighborhood are like, oh man, 7 Mile.
Yes.
It's like it's people that live right next to 6 Mile, like one block up, and say, I'm 7 Mile.
Yes.
People from Southfield that be like, I went down to my grandma's house all the time. Now I live
on 7 Mile.
7 Mile. And it's like we Linwood, we 12th Street, but it's a culture.
It's a culture.
What era? When did you graduate from Mumford?
1996.
Okay, so 96. That was like a different. Feel even over there.
Yeah.
More businesses. A lot, as we know, Black businesses. We think of Greater Grace. That was still over there at the time. If people know, like, Greater Grace is a huge church now, but then like that looming figure that it was. What was it like growing up in that neighborhood as a kid?
Man, growing up in that neighborhood, and my husband, he got like 7.5 years on me, but that 7 Mile and Wyoming area, it was a lot of Black businesses.
Yeah.
On Wyoming, I don't know if you remember the Brothers Daycare, but they had the Brothers Daycare, they had the Brothers Barbecue, and they had the candy store, all on one strip, all Black owned, so I grew up looking at Black entrepreneurs. My mother, she worked for the city, and I always seen her work, but I always seen her hustle outside of work for herself and for her family. So it was kind of embedded in me to always know that you got to do something different. You know what I'm saying? And don't think that you can't do it, because look at these people around you. They doing it, so.
And then even like that community, especially then, like you say, it was more businesses as businesses are shifting, but more storefronts that people can interact with. I think a lot of Black entrepreneurs kind of get into more like my field nowadays, the consulting and the professional field. But back then, it was a lot of businesses that were transactional, face to face, where all people could be welcome. Only some people want marketing. Everybody's gonna want to go buy some candy.
Yes.
Everybody's gonna want to get a cake made.
Yes. Everybody gonna eat. So
yes, everybody's gonna eat some barbecue.
Yes.
And daycare exists because kids exist.
Exactly.
So seeing this in that, what was the confidence? Or was it even like a confidence scene that you understood that like this neighborhood, it kind of is so different than certain places in the country?
And as a child, my mom worked for the city, and it took us to different neighborhoods. Like she worked close to the Brewster projects.
Okay.
And she worked close to Weigel Recreation Center and Johnson's Recreation Center. So I always deal with different environments, different kids, always urban kids, but I always deal with different kids, and I always got to see, different things. So I wasn't put in a box, which allowed me to adapt and allowed me to take from different people. All a part of the same culture, but it allowed me to adapt. I was able to go over here, and if they was doing this, I can fit in or I can learn, and then I went over there, I can tell these people what I learned, and I can incorporate that to what we doing. So.
And it's a cultural difference. It's like Detroit is a east side, west side city. Mm-hmm. There are some differences. But with those differences comes like a different feel. So your mom worked for the city. Did she work in the recs department?
Yes, she worked in the recreation department, parks and rec. So
wow. And that was actually back when the city funded that all directly. Right
all
now
directly.
It's some state funding that goes into that, and things have been broken down and things have been transitioned.
The program isn't as big as it used to be.
No.
I mean, I took modeling classes, I took taekwondo classes, I took cooking classes, everything. I went to work. It wasn't no staying at home in the summer. My mom worked at the rec center. I went to work with my mom.
Wow.
You know, the whole summer. She always had us into something, always had us doing something.
Because even like I remember the time my like uncle was big on like one summer, like my cousin would come up and then he'd be like, we going to Joseph Walker Williams. And it's like, oh man, we got to go to Joseph Walker Williams all the time. And Dexter Amherst was still active. Like these different community centers is right now that conversation of defunding the police exists, and defunding does not mean abolish to a lot of people. It just means funding these rec centers, because if it was more to do, if there were more job opportunities, if there were other things to do, it diverts a lot of the need for policing.
Yes, exactly.
Because over this time, our recreational centers have been stripped. And we think about neighborhoods like this neighborhood. If you're a kid, you will have to, like, if you want to play an indoor game of basketball,
the closest one would be where we go to sell
probably
the ice cream.
Northwest Activity Center.
Yeah.
Or Northwestern
not Northwest
High School.
Activity Center, where they do the ice skating, where we go and sell the snow cones to that park.
Butzel?
Butzel.
Yeah, and Butzel, I mean, when we think about being a kid, you're crossing so many neighborhoods.
You crossing so many neighborhoods.
You may get into 7 fights before you can play your pickup game of basketball.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, I'm going to be in the house. But also the culture of video gaming exists. Do you think that, like, what's your mom's take, or what's your take on, like, do you think kids even want to be outside and active as much today, or would they rather be playing Call of Duty?
They would rather be playing the game. Absolutely. I think that's why we have so many kids that deal with obesity. You know, when we was kids, we couldn't wait. I remember my mama telling me, no, it's too early. You can't go outside. You know, you not going outside.
Yeah.
And then having to call you back in because you didn't want to come in.
Yeah.
But these kids, you have to be like, turn the game off, go outside, go play, go be a kid, you know? Everything is right at their fingertips, so they don't want to exercise anything else.
And I also tell people this, when people say you have some good leadership abilities and you communicate with people, like a lot of that I think comes from being a kid playing, because we knew, like, you had to interact with, like, to play a good game of hide go seek or freeze tag, you interacting with like 13 kids.
Yeah.
And that's 13 different personalities.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you don't want one person to quit, because if they quit, then that's going to affect another person. Then we going to get into a fight. And it's like, man, I just want to play hide and seek. So you would almost have to be like a politician.
The person that don't want to be it all the time. You got to talk them off the ledge. Look, now you lost the coin toss.
But these are skill sets that apply in personal communications. Like when we talk about like younger people nowadays, it's so much different the way they even communicate. Even with my staffers here, like the people that help me with engineering, like some of them, it's like, okay, they just, you know, like you'll see them face to face, they'll say 4 words and then you'll walk away and then I have like 40 pages worth of text messages where it's like, dude, we could have had a conversation about this. But I don't think sometimes of like, they don't have the same experience.
Right. They grew up in a whole different era or culture.
Yeah. Like even breaking, like I remember, and this is something your husband spoke to, like when you stop and you break to say, all right, let's go get a bag of chips. If you with 7 kids and you know 2 of those kids don't have money for chips, that will either be a fight. And I know this sounds crazy, but it's either going to be a fight, or you got to buy some chips for them, or you got to buy the big bag and share. Like, it's going to be certain situations where you have to keep in mind everything that's going on.
Exactly.
You know, if they grandma's sick, it's like, okay, we may not be able to play with them for a while, but let's just go play That's My Car on the Porch.
We're going to go sit over there with him because we know he can't leave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is like learning people skills along the way while you're still a kid.
Exactly. Life lessons.
Life's lessons. What Miguel said, he's right. And we took for granted that you're learning all this just because you want to go outside and play.
Yeah.
And you want to maximize the fun you can have playing.
Yeah.
And you actually had the advantage of going to different neighborhoods.
Yes, I did.
What stood out as you went to some of these different neighborhoods?
Man, I always thought that I grew up so poor and underprivileged and always thinking about what I didn't have until going to the Herman Gardens, to the Brewster's Projects. And they staying in projects, and we had a house. We was renting, but I stayed in a house. I had my own bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just little things like that. Like, wow. We ate Burger King or Church's Chicken every Friday. Every Friday, my mama got paid. That was our treat. Kids didn't have that. We used to eat, my whole family, cousins, aunties, uncles, we all got together over grandma's house every Sunday and ate. I didn't know that until I got older and was telling people like, oh, I can't do that on Sunday. We doing this. Y'all don't do that? Or a family reunion every year. Some kids like, I never been out of Detroit. And I'm like, wow, we go every year.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I don't know if I showed the appreciation for it, but I just see that I had so much more than what I knew that I had.
And what led your mom into the Parks and Recs department?
Oh, my mother was an athlete. She she had 2 girls to start for a long time, and she loved basketball, she loved volleyball, she loved baseball. So she wanted us to be in athletics. So I think that's what geared her to go into Parks and Recreation. She found a way where she can get paid and do what she liked to do all day.
Paid for hooping.
Yeah.
While being with the kids, like Miguel said.
Free daycare and
cheating,
everything.
That's cheating the system big time. That's winning.
Hey, you got to make
winning.
it work. You got to make it work.
Yeah, that's winning big time. So what was so you said you had another sister?
Yes, I have a sister.
Older, younger?
Older.
Okay, so you were the kid sister.
I was the baby sister for 15 years, and then my mother had 3 sons after us.
Wow.
So we told her she finally got her basketball players.
Hilarious. Y'all was not taken to, it was like.
No, I mean, we played the game, but not like how she wanted it. We didn't want to be on teams. We want to play for fun. I don't want to go to practice and none of that.
So it was like playing pickup with your mama was like intense.
Oh, you ain't winning. You ain't winning.
She didn't let you all win for fun.
Nah.
She was like 12 to zip.
Yeah, she ain't going easy on you.
Hilarious.
She ain't going easy.
Hilarious. So being a baby for that long and in that household, you said the other creativity that you kind of tapped into. Did you like pick up more so that from your older sister? Where did painting and
I
art
think my
and all of that
mom,
come to?
my sister, she'll tell you she ain't good at nothing but working. She's an excellent employee. She's an excellent supervisor. But as far as the creativity, she didn't get that. It was my mom. My mom, she'd take something and I'd be like, what do you have on? But she done took a dress, turned it into a shirt, done put on some leggings, a large belt, and I'm like, what, Ma? But that was her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she was confident in whatever she did. I remember my mother was a real light-skinned woman, and she loved purple eyeshadow. And I'd be like, Mama, why you got on that purple eyeshadow? But the confidence that it gave her, it didn't matter what I said. She did what she wanted to do. And I think that's where I got that from. No matter what nobody else's perception of it, I'm going to do something because it make me happy. And if you can enjoy it or if you take something positive from it, then that just make me feel that much better. So I think I got that creativity from my mom. All
right. So like art as a kid, what were the arts that you were into?
Same thing like now. I remember because I was always... I'm rushing through stuff, and it may not have been neat, may not have been sloppy. So my mother, she picked up on that. And I used to love to color as a kid. I would love to color. So my mother would say, color this page and I give you $5 for it. You color it perfectly, you stay in the lines, I'm going to give you $5 for coloring. But she would take away 25 cents for every time I went out of the line. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, I'm a color, I'm having fun, and I'm gonna make some money. But to her, it was teaching her, I'm gonna teach you responsibility. You do a good job, you're gonna get paid. But you ain't gonna get paid if you put anything together. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take your time with it. You gotta have some pride in what you're doing. And that was a very valuable lesson at a young age. And I know I done told my husband that story too. So
as that carried, like, were you painting? Did you have like canvases as a kid? Were you painting? Were you?
I was more.
Or was it fashion? Was it hair?
It was
I know you
fashion.
mentioned hair.
It was fashion and it was hair. But I used to like to draw on my clothes. I used to like to, y'all, my baby, it was a phase. But people used to airbrush and draw pictures all on their clothes, on their pants, on their shoes. I was that person, and my mama couldn't understand it. Why do you let people draw on your clothes, or why are you writing on all of your clothes? And I'm like, Ma, this my creativity. This how I'm expressing myself. So.
And when did you were you doing it yourself?
I was doing it myself, and I had other people do it. Like I say, if you can do something and I didn't know how to do it, show me.
So you
because
were like
I learned. I'm a visual learner, so you do it and I can implement it. But you got to do it on me because I got to be able to practice when I'm at home away from you. So. Yeah.
So that was like a Joanne Fabrics kid.
Yeah. That's my favorite store now, yeah.
Okay, so even then you were like, okay, let me get this, let me get the little paint.
Let me get
let me figure this out with definitely the bedazzle it.
Everything, even nails. Back in the day, I remember I used to do nails for $5 and I would heat up an earring. Burn the end of the earring and stick it through the plastic of the nail. Now you got jewelry on your nails.
Wow.
That was I was probably 12. We was doing the decals, the tattoos that you can put on your body. I was putting them on people's nails, cut them up, make them real small, dip them in water and put it on your nail. Marble, just
and all of this was just trying it yourself.
All of this was just not having the money. I ain't have money to go get my nails done. So now I got to see how I can do it with my own, with my own finances. I got 99 cents. I can go buy a pack of nails.
Okay.
But, I can't. So I don't got no acrylic. So we just going to file this into your nail bed and shape it up, But it was all teaching me something. It was all giving me passion to be creative, to do better. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to where I do have the monetary means that I don't have to take the shortcuts. And the passion is there and the creativity is there. So now I get to create.
So after Mumford, where are you at on your journey?
Oh, man. After Mumford, I excel in everything I do. I've always been a good student, but I was always scared to go to college. Which was probably me putting a cap on my own expectations of what I can do. But I always thought like, oh, I've gone to cosmetology school. Like anything, I'd be like, oh, if it's 12 months, I can do it. 12 months or less, I can do it. I done been, I'm a licensed pharmacy technician, a licensed cosmetologist, so a licensed hospice aide. So I had to see the end. I have to be able to actually visualize me working, being productive, and finishing and being successful at the end. So I always took smaller steps to achieve my goals, but everything that I've done, I've accomplished it. So, yeah.
So after that, you went into cosmetology or?
Yep, I did cosmetology first. Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was fun. I got to do what I was doing every day. I got to do what I was doing anyway.
Did you go to the Votech? Did you go to one of the Votechs when you were
No, when I was in high school, they wanted you to start out cosmetology in the 9th grade.
Okay.
And my junior high school went to 9th grade. So I didn't start high school until the 10th grade. I went to Bogan.
You missed the Votech because of that.
Yeah, I missed the Votech. So then, which led me into the hospice, I took home health care through Votech. And that was only a 2-year program. So I was able to do that. And that's how I got into the healthcare. But hair was always something that I was passionate about since my childhood. So after high school, I'm like, oh, I ain't trying to, wipe no butts and make no bedpans. I'm about to do something fun. I want to do hair.
Yep.
So I found me the cheapest cosmetology school that was around. And because I was already doing it, I was so good. So normally you had to have 200 hours before they put you on the floor. I was on the floor doing hair my first week.
What shop did you start working at?
Oh, man. I've worked at a few of them, but the one that I stayed at the longest would have been exclusive.
What was the first shop you worked at? Just explain that culture, because as men, we know the barber shop a little bit, but then if you've never been a barber, we kind of, I guess, understand the chair rent and what.
Well,
what was
you
the
know
first
about
shop?
a hood. It was a hood shop.
Okay.
It was a hood shop, unlicensed barbers, unlicensed cosmetologists.
But it was what it was.
It was what it was. We was hungry.
Okay.
You know, wasn't nobody making too much money. You know, we all trying to build up our clientele. So, you know, you're trying to be business during the day. Pretty much anything goes after 6. You know, so but it was a family because we was all working towards one common goal. You know what I'm saying?
So transitioning from that shop to your first shop where you were licensed.
Oh man.
What was the difference?
Much more professionalism. You had to step your game up. You know, you had to step your game up. You had to be more you had to manage your time better. You basically had to be more of a professional because now you are your own boss, and now I am a representation of the product that I'm selling. And who want to sell average product or an unprofessional product or something that's not put together? So I had to step up with using better product. I had to invest in myself. I went to start taking hair classes, going to hair shows, you know, seeing what other people was doing, seeing what I could bring back and I could implement. So yeah. Now,
that's another one of the businesses that I really think that exists heavy in our community. And it's funny, one of my homeboys is he is a distillery owner, and they've transitioned to making a lot of sanitizer right now to address what's happening with COVID-19, cleaning spaces. I mean, that you see some of the sanitizer in that bottle now. I'm spraying everything down, but in this world, I always look to stylists as like growing that clientele. I always wonder, like, how does that clientele grow? Because me, even as men, as barbers, like sometimes we'll have the same barber for like 20 years.
Yes.
How do you grow clientele in a business where people are so loyal to
you have to be
who
consistent.
They go to?
You have to be consistent, you know, and then it's not just, of course, they have to love the final product. You have to love the hairdo, but it's not all about the hairdo. It's a part of the service. It's a part of the conversation. You know, it's a part of the listening, making your customer feel like they're the most important person. I love to see when my customers come in and they probably having a bad day, or they, you know, they frustrated about something, and then as we get to talking, you can see the tenseness relax a little more. Then halfway done, they relax a little more. Then by the end of the hairstyle, you know, they laughing. They don't forget about the stress that done brought them in. But I'm not done with their hair. They ain't seen their hair, but their whole body just done relaxed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just the service. It's the interaction with another person.
Now, how did you even manage, like, in growing your business? What was it that you went in building it? Like, how did you go about building it? Was it one of those things
promotions, doing deals, advertising? When I first started out, I did a lot of 2-for-1. What I did is I bumped my price up $20 for the price of one hairstyle, but I tell you bring a friend, she can get her hair done for free. So really, y'all can go in half on this hairdo. So that's how I kind of did it. And then
how was I know you were growing it, but how was the money coming in doing that deal?
Oh man, basically you ain't make no money till Friday or Saturday. I ain't make booth rent till booth rent was due.
Wow.
You know, I ain't clear my $125 to the day that the $125 was due. And luckily I had a good team when I first started out that was willing to work with me. They knew I was fresh out of cosmetology school. And then they even told me, they like, Monda, if you don't got no hair customers, the barbers is banging. Do manicures. You here all day. You know what I'm saying? Just do their nails to make. And I'm like, oh, I can. I can do that.
Okay.
So it kind of started, if you can't make money doing what you plan to do, don't let that time be in vain. Make some money doing something else while you're still there. I was still advertising my hair. I was still available to do somebody's hair, but I used the skill that I had and the time that I had to still make money and represent what I wanted to do. And that makes sense.
That does make perfect sense, because I think in a position like that, as we've all seen it too, especially in like the barbershop and the salon, you know, it's the person that has clients coming back to back to back to back to back to back. Then it's the person sitting in the chair watching Judge Mathis all day.
As opposed to you get off your butt and you say, hey, can I offer your clients, I don't got none, can I offer your clients shampoo their hairs for $5? He cutting their hair now. He cutting their hair. You ain't cutting in on his cutting hair. But guess what? He opened up that door. Nah, you still there for if somebody come in and want their hair cut, you still available. You still advertising yourself, but now you using your time wisely.
Yeah, you making some money instead of
some money.
losing some money because you still paying the booth rent is due.
It's due.
And you're not making no money.
Exactly.
And you waiting to make some money.
So don't limit yourself. If you saying I'm going in here to do this, you can't be closed-eyed, closed-mind with the tunnel vision and saying, if I'm not doing this, I can't do nothing.
Now, this is also interesting when we get into the science of business too, because sometimes in a business like cosmetology where it is very competitive, but making sure you pay yourself and knowing budgeting, like budgeting is real. Like one of the things your husband spoke to, like you learn, you know, street business is real business because you really need to know a lot of ethics. And one of the number one things is net profit versus gross profit.
Exactly.
You know, you need to know how much you're walking away with and budgeting all that stuff because you're buying supplies, you're buying utensils, you paying your booth rent. Like it can kind of drift away from you. You know, you pay for that ad and Cool Seas. Like you can drift away from you like, damn, every minute I'm here, I'm spending X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
How did you set your prices and how did you know? And then also the other thing about, I think, being a stylist is like a massage therapist. You can only get, it's only 24 hours in a day.
Exactly.
So you can only maximize so many clients. Even if you say, I'm a hustler, I'm going to work 15 hours a day for 6 days a week. And it's like, how long are you going to do that?
Exactly.
Before you burn yourself at both ends and your product lowers and you're going to lose all your clientele in the first damn place. Like, how did you set your price to know that you were making enough money? And then how did you continue to scale it up over time?
Well, like I said, when I first was starting out, I wasn't making a lot of money. So I didn't spend anything other than, you know, I always had my products and always had what I needed to do. But all of the extras, you know, it was bag lunches and it wasn't going out, spending that extra money because I don't know when my next client gonna book. So I had to just be disciplined myself and had to have self-control to not spend. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like I said, I ain't make my booth rent until the day of. But that day of, I will work myself because, like I say, I know the weekend I'm a bang, but Monday to Thursday, I might not have no clients. So I might not finish doing hair till 2, 3 in the morning. So I was very disciplined and I worked myself to do what I had to do because the funds was not coming in.
And that's deep that you talk about that because having that discipline, especially at a young age, because that's the party age. That's the it's Saturday, you can make money, but then your friends is like, let's hang out.
But I've always, even when I was young, I would prefer to have money than things. I tell my husband all the time, if I had $600 and I made $10 more, I'm going in there and I got to count out $610. I ain't going to just add the $10. And that just made me feel good. Like, ooh, I'm saving, I'm doing it. And I was doing it myself. I was my own bank before me and him got different. Different opinions about business and well, just not business, banking.
Okay.
I agree with him on some of it, but then I know that this game, we have to have collateral. We have to have a bank account. You have to do things a certain way for certain entities or for you to be accepted or for you to even do certain proposals.
Get access to certain things.
Yeah,
and
to
I
get
think
access
different
to certain
approaches.
things.
I think different approaches is actually that is a strength.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, having different tools to handle different things.
And I think, that's why we balance each other because we think a lot alike, but then we think independently too. Yeah. So he can take from what I'm saying and I can take from what he's saying. Like, I understand why he don't want to use a bank. Yeah. And then I know now that me talking to him, he understand why I want him to because what we want to do is so much bigger than like, we can finance a lot of stuff, but when you go into talking about stuff that we want to do along the lines of retirement, we need some extra money. You know what I'm saying? So
it's some of
we're
those
working
things to think
towards it.
through.
Yeah.
Now, as you continue to grow, when did you decide to up your rates? When did you decide to change your deals? And then,
when I start investing in myself, like I say, now I'm traveling, I'm taking class, and I'm getting knowledge. This is a skill. You know, so now I have to remake this money back for these extra skills that I'm getting. So once I start investing in myself more, after you invest in yourself when you go into cosmetology school, and that in itself is a thing. But when I went to taking classes and studying under other professionals, then I'm like, oh, you know what? This is a skill. I can't be giving away my skill for free.
What suggestions do you have for the young stylist or the person getting into that industry about one of the things you said is definitely controlling the variable of outflow of money, and that's budgeting.
Yes, budgeting.
And sometimes I'm
budgeting.
surprised to know so many people that are, I guess they feel so shamed that don't even budget at all. They don't even know how much money they have. They just eyeball, I got $500 yesterday.
Yeah.
So I know I got $5, so I probably can spend this $200 without thinking to themselves, DTE is coming up obviously in a couple days.
Yeah.
So, but budgeting definitely played a role. But along with budgeting, how did you plan out as time went on? Like what salon you want to work with? Where do you want to go? How do you want to place it? How to set up your time? Like how did you even budget your time as well? Because I know, as you weren't working till 3:00 in the morning all the time.
No, just on the weekends. But I wanted to place myself. I knew I wanted to be in a salon that was already thriving, that had walk-ins, because I was building up my clientele. I didn't have a lot of people that was coming, but my people did. I had customer retention.
Yeah.
Now the 3, 4 people that I did have, they came to me on a regular consistently. But of course you want to grow. So I had to find a salon first that was close, that I was accessible to me. Then they had to have a clientele already coming. So they had to have their own flow of traffic. So I wanted a salon that was getting walk-ins. So then, like I said, then the barbers was banging. So then I found a way to make money off of their customers. So now, then word of mouth is greatest. That was before social media. We was our own social media. Where you get your hair done? Oh, I go to Old Girl, blah, 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 blah. So, so I, every week, you had to up your game. Had start making money when I didn't have no money coming in. Then now people see me here and they know that I'm responsible and I'm reliable. I take a chance on her, saving my money so I can invest in myself and take classes. Then when I take classes, I can start charging more money. Now that I'm start charging more money and I see how much I'm paying you boofering in a year or 2 years, how about I just set up my own house? I'm licensed. How about I set up my own house, and now that $150 every week that I was giving to somebody else, I can just put on my light and my water bill, and now I don't have no overhead. Now all my money is my own. So you just, I wouldn't say just jump all in and try to take on everything. Some people can. For me, I couldn't. I had to do everything one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Try this. Oh, this didn't work, or this did work. Okay, now incorporate this or that. Bank your money. Now invest in yourself. Okay, now you got this class. Now you got to pay for that class. Add $10 more onto that service. You know what I'm saying? Start doing lashes. That's something you can do real quick, and you can make $25. So you have to constantly evolve. You have to constantly recreate yourself. So
now, as you're evolving and recreating, what impact is this having on your family? Is they seeing you grow as an entrepreneur?
Definitely. Them was my first clients,
Okay.
I practiced everything on them, so they was loving it. Now I get to get weaves, I get to get lashes, I get to get all of this stuff for free because they was like my test dummies. My family, we've always been really close. They've always been really supportive. So in that aspect, I was really blessed. I always had more girls than men, so finding somebody's hair to do for free was never an issue, was never a problem. And my mother, she always encouraged us. She always told us, you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything you put your mind to. So just having that, that reassurance behind you, and then having people, now somebody be like, oh, I don't let everybody in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even want to be able to start right now because the girls, they so picky and it wasn't like that when I was growing up. You know, it was more a sense of community and we was all willing to help each other. So, yeah.
And also, like, now you're married, but at that time, I'm guessing you were single. What is it like being an entrepreneurial woman? Because I know that even changes a dating, like a woman with a job is different than an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that it's better or it's worse, but it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like in that world too?
I've always worked a job too. I've always had my side. I'm always gonna do something on the side, but I'm a firm believer in it. You can't do just one thing. You can't just do one thing. You got to have more than one avenue.
Okay.
You know, that's the saying, you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to get bored. I don't want to be content. So if I'm always busy, you know what I'm saying, I can never get bored.
Okay.
Even when I'm painting, I work on multiple babies because I might just get tired of looking at that face working on it. But I still want to be creative. I still want to make the most use out of my time.
Where were you working?
Oh, when are you speaking of? Younger?
Yeah.
I've worked so much. I've worked a job ever since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
My first job I had when I got my check, I couldn't even cash my check because I was in junior high school, and in junior high school they didn't give you ID.
You gotta go to you gotta.
So
go
when
to
we
your
all
mama.
went with our bank, we all had our little $300 checks, and we all went to the bank. They denied us all. They thought somebody was scamming, writing bad checks.
You got that right.
We all had to deposit it into somebody else's account, let it clear, and get our money but I've been working ever since I was 12 years old, and right now I'm 42.
So where were you working at the time and growing your business as a stylist?
Growing my business as a stylist. Now, that when I was growing my business as a stylist, I was not working because I was young. I say I was in my early 20s, and hair was my only form of money. My husband told me then, he said, "Man, you used to have more money then than you had now."
See, now
but that's because
Miguel,
I was disciplined. I was disciplined, and I was building my clientele, and I didn't know where my next money was coming from.
Yep.
So the money that I got, I'm saving it. My bills paid. I got food to eat. I don't need to go buy no shoes. I don't need to go out to no movies. Or if somebody somebody better take me. But I'm content with having my money, knowing that my bank account is stacking and growing. So I was really disciplined when I was starting out. So I didn't spend.
And what was the shift that said, okay, I'll take this job? Like what? It had to almost be a job worth taking to
when I got into a relationship. That's what when I got into a relationship, I was like, free time is the devil's playground. So I was like, I need to not be so available to all of my male friends that was just calling and coming over and that I was spending time with. I wanted to grow our relationship, so I had to be different. So that's what I did different. I never stopped doing hair, but I occupied that down space that I had.
And still continuing to cultivate the dials.
Still.
How did you get into the dials?
Oh man, so I just recently got into the dials, probably almost 3 years ago, and just happened being on YouTube, and I seen the lady with a lifelike Reborn Doll, and I just could not believe it. It looked so real. It looked so real, and I couldn't believe that it was a baby doll. So I was like, wow. And then I went to looking into it, and I'm like, dang, these dolls cost how much? $800, $1,500 for a baby doll? These women crazy. But they were so real. I just found myself being intrigued, watching videos 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because they just so lifelike. They move so real. Weighted, and they wiggly and jiggly.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so real. So I'm like,
real.
I was just fascinated, with the creativity of it all. So I'm like, the wheels went to turning, wheels went to spinning. So then I'm like, shoot. If these women is making these dolls and they making this kind of money off of these dolls, I need to get down on that. That's something I can do. I think that's kind of cool.
How did you go about the marketing research?
I dove head in. Like I said, when I fell in love with them, I was up researching 2, 3, 4, sometimes not even going to sleep till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know Miguel was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah. Online, everywhere that I possibly seen them. I'm trying to get in touch with, and I'm just a new person. They don't know me. I'm reaching out to prototype artists,
Not everybody knows.
I'm reaching out to prototype artists because I want to know. I want to know from you. I want to know from the old schools that's been doing it for 10, 15 years. So, and that's how I did it.
Now, did you the market for that? Like, when you made your first doll, was it one of those things that like is an online marketplace? Did you go to like a show to sell? Like, how did you go about
I sold it.
jumping in?
I sold my first doll from my YouTube channel. When I first started my YouTube channel, I made my YouTube channel just to advertise my doll. I made a doll for myself and I made one for my aunt. And I just wanted to interact with my doll. I do role play videos and stuff like that. And so as I painted those dolls, I painted my first two and I was like, oh, that was cool. I like them. And the second doll looked better than the first doll. I'm going to paint another one. Okay. And then someone reached out to me and was like, is that baby for sale? Are you an artist? And I'm like, wow.
So the market came to you before you even went to market.
Yes.
She wasn't even trying to sell.
Yeah.
You were just doing it as a hobby at first.
Yeah,
and
just doing it as a hobby, just because I fell in love with it.
And because you fell in love, you already knew and did the research. Like, your marketing research was really from a place of interest.
Just of interest.
So you knew what the going rate was.
Yeah.
You knew
how much the parts was, where to get all of the pieces from, and then.
So when the person said, "Is that for sale?" you knew to say $1,200 or whatever the rate is. You know?
Well, this one keep telling me you need to charge more. You need to charge more. I say I can't charge what a prototype artist charging, baby. I can't do that.
Why not? Let me ask you that. Why do you think you can't?
Well, that's just like right now. We can go out and we can drive all of the cars that we talk about wanting to have. But I think that we ain't saved enough. We ain't worked hard enough to live that lifestyle yet. You got to earn that. You got to deserve it.
Okay.
You
So
know?
that first sale, how did you go about? Because then this is the other thing when it comes to products. It's like you got to do packaging. You got to think about labeling. Like it's almost like when you have something somebody wants. It's like that aunt that makes a great pie.
Yes.
And it's like, yo, people will buy these pies, but selling the pie versus like coming over and eating your aunt's pie is completely. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you got to package it. You gotta figure out what shipping is.
Add the cost of shipping to the
yeah. How did you manage all the other business?
Man, because I did my research.
Okay.
I knew that people love the baby, but they love what they call a box opening, which is basically a baby shower in a box. You're gonna you spending so much money on the baby that now we gonna shower your baby with all of these gifts.
It's not like buying it's not like buying the doll at Family Dollar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So I seen that. I was like, okay. So how about, because not every artist offers a box opening. How about if I offer all my babies to go home with a box opening? Because I'm a new artist. I'm not well known. So how can I draw in people that want to purchase from me?
That same method that you learned as a stylist. Like the whole, I'm going to charge a little bit more and say 2 for 1. But in reality, I'm not taking too much of an L.
I'm not. Yeah.
I got you.
So that's how I sold them on the box openings. But then I'm like, I don't have no money to invest in going to buy all these clothes and bottles and pacifiers. So went a little further. So what I started doing was start registering like I was having a baby. I registered at Target, Buy Bad Baby, everywhere that you could register for baby products. And I went and I picked up my free gift. I had my friends go and register and go and pick up their free gift.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I went, broke it down, separated it. It came with pacifiers, bottles, burp rags, like all the little stuff for babies. Yeah. And I put that stuff in my box openings. So I was able to send my babies home with a box opening that I didn't have to pay nothing for.
Now, let me ask you this about the market for that. As you were very interested, who is the market? Like who's
be surprised.
Who's buying most of the dolls?
Men, women, kids, grandmothers, empty nesters, women with infertility issues, women who
nursing homes.
Yeah, nursing homes.
Sell them to the nursing homes.
For comfort, cuddle babies, and therapy dolls. But you'd be surprised. I mean, from ages from 3 to 80.
Wow.
Men and women. So.
And now you have faith and justice here.
Yes.
Is that like also a part of it, like a naming and giving?
Definitely.
Or do you allow
it's a lifestyle. It is a whole entire lifestyle. So you can't just, it's nice to have a lifelike baby that looks real. But, you know, my babies have a whole nursery. I have a whole room dedicated to my baby dolls in my house that an infant live baby can come and live in.
And I'm sure that even helps with the YouTube and the promotion.
It helps with the YouTube.
Because almost in this world of content creation and content marketing, people themselves and the lifestyle around whatever that business or
you have
service
to visually sell the
is,
product.
Yes. It's not, it's almost like the day of like, if I buy barbecue from somebody, I want to know that, you know, this person really makes barbecue nowadays. It's not like the day of like, is this good barbecue? It's like, do they live barbecue? You know?
So my babies, they not just dressed up baby dolls. My baby got on shoes, a whole diaper, a whole onesie underneath. You know, so it's everything. She got her pacifier that's clipped to her. She got a break. It's the whole visual, the car seat, and she not just in the car seat. She's strapped in the car seat.
Wow.
You know, so it's the whole visual aspect of it. You selling the whole package. You're not just selling the doll.
So at this point, what's the vision? Do you see where do you see expanding this business?
I want to be a prototype artist. I really want to be a prototype artist. I want to have sculptors seek out my work. So basically a prototype is when they first sculpt the pieces. I want to be that artist that they send the pieces to and they say, bring it to life to make other artists want to buy my sculpt. So I want to be that person. And so that's what now I've been investing my time and my energy with, of course, practicing and studying with other prototype artists. I take classes from them. You know, I email with them. I talk to them. So basically I built up a relationship, you know, with these artists that are already reputable. They're already known. So, you know, it's kind of like I'm guilty by association. So this
is so unique because I didn't know this existed. Like I'm a kid of that era where like Cabbage Patch dolls.
Yes.
Like I had a Cabbage Patch. Like, you know what I'm saying? My sister definitely, and it came with the name, and it expands like into this world of like of like how long is this culture exist? And I guess this is what makes life so unique because it's like whole worlds exist that you just know nothing of. But
in the end, and in that same breath, it's a circle because like you say, Cabbage Patch dolls were the elite of dolls back in the day. True. They were like they were like a real baby. They came with the birth certificate. They had the diapers. So the world just went in a circle. It's the same thing, just a different bag. Everything is
but that's
constantly
a lot more
evolving.
Detailed than a Cabbage Patch.
Yes. And it's not mass produced. They're all handmade.
So it's almost like a what is that? Like a Rolls Royce almost. Like
definitely.
From like
and so
top to bottom.
Yeah. And then you can make them, they can be custom made. So you can come to me and you can tell me, I want this color skin tone, or can you make this kind of birthmark like my baby had, or you know what I'm saying? So it's so many different ways that you can make them. You can customize them, you know, so.
What, and have you had repeat customers?
Yes, I've had the person that bought my first baby, she has 3 of my babies.
Wow.
Yeah. She has 3, and I love her for that. Shout out to Ella Bean. Thank you, Ella Bean.
Are most people based in the Detroit area? Are they
Absolutely
across the world?
Not. I've never sold a baby. Have I sold one to someone in Detroit? I don't think I've sold it to the facility. Oh, well, that wasn't in Detroit. That was Roseville. So I have sold 4 babies in Michigan, but all my babies have gone to other states. Yeah. So. Yeah, got babies in Wisconsin, Texas, Tennessee, New York. That's all that I can think of right now, but yeah.
And are people, because the same way that you...
Oh, in Spain.
The international. And the same way that you were studying this, have people turned around like with your content creation and started asking you questions? How did you get into this?
Are you going to start doing tutorials, or will you do classes, or are you going to be? Because I do a lot of the doll shows. I go to the doll shows. Are you going to be doing a class at the show? And I tell them like, I don't think I'm ready to give a class. And everybody like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I have another artist that I was studying. Her name is Julia Crystal for All for Reborns. Shout out, Julia. Thank you so much. She's trying to encourage me. Her and her mom, they trying to encourage me to get a booth at one of the shows. And I was like, Crystal, I still look at myself like I'm a new artist. She like, so what? You good.
Yeah.
It don't matter. You good.
And I know somebody else is probably telling you that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay. Now this is all so unique. How do people get in contact with you? How do people find out about this?
Well, I am on Facebook at my nursery page. My business nursery is Twice a Child Reborn Nursery on Facebook. I am on Instagram at Twice a Child. On Instagram, and then I am on YouTube as First Time Reborn Mom. That's the number 1 ST capital TIME REBORN space MOM. So I sell from those 3 platforms, and I have an email address at twiceachild@yahoo.com where I can be reached. So yeah, I just use social media, but mainly a lot of it is word of mouth. Or it's like, I've seen you've done a baby for such and such. I'm getting a baby. Can you do it? Like, I've gotten deposits before I've even gotten to people's work.
I would assume that business is definitely,
because they want to lock you in. Yeah, they want to lock you in.
I would definitely do that in that business.
Yeah, they definitely lock you in. But it's just like anything else. We got dolly scammers. Grown women, grandmas trying to scam people for baby dolls. I mean, it's cutthroat.
I can imagine.
My husband, he didn't believe. He like, man, them old women over there beefing and arguing over baby dolls. I'm like, it's deep. It's like high school.
I can believe it.
Yeah, it's like high school.
It's human behavior still.
Yep. It's a whole nother world. Before I knew about it, I didn't think it was this big. But now you go to shows and you see 5,000, 10,000 people, and it's like.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
And a capture market. So this was great interview. You kind of already know what my Detroit is different questions will be.
Yeah.
But still, I gotta ask them all the time.
Go ahead.
Very first car, year, make, and model, and what year did you get it?
So I was so young. I got my first car before I even had my license.
Okay.
My mother bought it for me because, I was in 10th grade. So I had to be like 14 because I graduated when I was 16.
Wow.
So I had to be like 14. And it was a Chevette.
Red.
No, it was orange. It was tan with one orange door.
Hey, it is what it is.
Or it was orange with one tan door.
Okay.
Well, anyway, it was a Chevette. And my mother bought it in Canada for $200. It had a hole in the floor. I would eat it, and when I had trash, I would just drop it because it just dropped right out to the floor.
Okay.
But my mother got me the car, and I was underage, but she had taught us how to drive. I had been driving since I was like 8 or 9. My mother taught us how to drive when we was real young.
That's the Alabama in your mama.
Yep. So she taught us how to drive real young. And she knew that I was responsible. So that part wasn't it. She got me the car because I kept missing the Votech bus. When I was going to Votech for my home health care, I had to walk to school, and then the Votech bus probably was leaving at like 7 a.m. And I kept missing it. My mom was like, you're not failing this class. So she bought me a little $200 car, and I was able to go to Votech and do what I had to do. So a Chevette.
So what was the first place you went when you got it?
Oh, man. I think I went and registered for school, and I got into an accident. So the first place.
Oh, man. I know a person, it's like hitting a 14-year-old. It's like, what in the hell?
But it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. So I had to register for school, and then my mama had gave me a certain time to be back with the car. Of course, after I done registered, I'm talking to my friend, so I'm getting close to my deadline. I'm like, dang, I got to get back because, mama done gave me this car, but if I don't follow her rules, it ain't no more car. She going to take the keys.
Yeah, and I'm surprised your friends wouldn't like, free ride?
Right. So, but this is registration day. We ain't started. It's the first
Still,
day.
Like, free ride, let's go to
So
McDonald's.
I'm on my way home.
Coney Island, let's go somewhere.
Man, it's a parked car and it's a car in the middle of the street. You know how you talk to somebody stop in the middle of the street, they talking, conversating. So I blow my horn. They ain't move. They blow my horn. Oh, I'm more scared of my mama than I'm more scared of people in the street. I got to get home.
Interesting.
So I squoze in between. I scratched up both them cars.
Oh, man. Oh.
First accident.
Oh, I know they was like, oh
Yeah.
my God. I know
They should have got out of the
They
street.
saw you. Yeah, I know, but they probably saw the girl. Thank God you weren't a guy, because that
Thank
would have been that whole situation would have went left.
Man, I scratched up both them cars, but that was my first little accident.
So next question. And then also Alabama. Whereabouts in Alabama? I didn't even ask that. Where's your family from?
Oh, Miguel, do you know?
Alabama.
No. Cause everything I got in my mind, I'm thinking about Mississippi.
His people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said your people from Alabama.
Yeah,
came
mine
this
from
way.
Alabama. His from Mississippi.
Are any of them still there?
No, now they've migrated everywhere else, but no one is left in Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's left in Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that makes sense why it's like you didn't
Yeah,
even touch it.
I can't remember.
It's like they was like, we getting out of Alabama. We going other places. City
Chicago, Detroit. We got some in California, Wisconsin, Tennessee, St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. You're the DJ, Detroit Fireworks. You get to play 3 songs. Woodward and Jefferson. What 3 songs you playing?
Oh man, I'm a Pink lover, so I gotta play some Pink. I will play "Hustle" by Pink.
Okay.
The next one, I would say,
You can feel it, huh? Just can't say the words.
no, because it gotta be something good. Like it gotta be. But I'm an old school lover, so
Hey, it don't make a difference.
I'm old school. I like some anything Lauryn Hill, anything Sade, anything Anita Baker, anything Jill Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And last question. If you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter, who would it be and why?
One Detroiter.
Oh, it's a deep question, huh?
Yeah, one Detroiter, because I got certain things. I want it to be a woman. Got to be a woman. Got to represent.
Okay.
Then it can't just be any woman. It got to be a woman with some type of Detroit influence. Then I don't want to say she just got to have Detroit influence. She got to have something that she's actually done and returned back to the city. So I'm thinking. I done came across 3, but I said no to them immediately. Bam, no. Aretha, I like her, no. Anita, I like her, no. What's the white girl name? Madonna, no. Or Cindy, like whichever one of them is from Detroit.
Madonna.
No. Right off the back, no. What's our councilwoman name? I'm liking her right now. Brenda Scott. I'm liking her right now. She's doing great things and she's young enough to continue. So I'm liking her. Just one. I wasn't sure, but okay, I'll settle on her.
Brenda.
Her.
Okay, Brenda
Jones.
Jones.
Brenda Jones.
Okay. Brenda Scott. Rest in peace. But Brenda Jones. Okay.
Brenda Jones.
That's I know Brenda. I will let her know she's
Yes.
in
I've met
effect.
her on 2 occasions and I like what she represents. She's most of all, she's about her community. You know what I'm saying? Beyond her self agenda, she's more about the community, and I see that in her spirit, in her words. Her actions speak through her words. So
definitely. Yeah. Okay. Well, that works.
That works.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Faith and Justice. Anytime.
Okay, yeah, we learned a lot about the world you're in now. So much power. People will be able to see from this interview. I'm gonna get more information. We're gonna post it up.
Okay. Thank you so much. Peace.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.